All right, guys, we're back. Another episode of Brushing the Bat with Kobe White. We have the honor and the privilege of having an NCAA legend on the show with us today. I told her before we got started I had to apologize. I just called her an SEC legend earlier this week, and I felt really bad about it, so I wanted to get that out of the air, get it out on the air immediately. Get that out of the way. We're going to be talking today with Miss Mia Davidson Smith. She joins us today. If you don't know who she is, you've been hiding under a rock. She's a former softball star from Mississippi State University, #Hail State. During her time in Start Vegas, she was named the NFCA Catcher of the Year. She just happens to be a two-time All-American while she was there. And what we were talking about earlier, SEC legend, NCAA legend. She's also the career home run leader with 93 round trippers. And you say, that's fantastic. That's 93 in the SEC, guys. And that's men and women. That's not just in the ladies. So we are excited to have her here today. And, in her spare time now, she just plays professionally for a group called Athletes Unlimited. Mia, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to get going. So, yeah, whatever you have.
From this point on, do I refer to you as Miss Davidson Smith, Miss Davidson, Mia? How do we want to go from this point forward?
Mia's fine. Mia's perfect.
Thank goodness, because I'm telling you, Davidson Smith was going to wear me out before we got done tonight.
No,
so we'll talk about that Smith thing in a minute. Let's get started there.
Yeah.
All right. The title of the episode today is when legends, how legends are made. But you don't come out a legend. You're born, you turn into a legend. So at that point, you got to go back to the beginning. So let's talk about little Mia. Way back in the day, Hillsboro, North Carolina. I mean, what was it like growing up? Were you an athlete from the minute you were able to walk? Or did you pick up sports later in life? I'm assuming most girls start as early as they possibly can. So
I started playing I started playing T-ball around like 3, 4. I think I started playing my dad. I was playing up with my sister, and we kind of lied about our age a little bit. Told him I was 5, and then I started playing T-ball then, and then me and my dad were actually just talking about it the other day. He was like, I made this really crazy catch from a kid that had no business being out there, and he said ever since then he knew that I was gonna do something special, hopefully, and it worked out pretty great. So yeah.
So we've already established she's a liar, but she's going to promise to tell the truth today. So, all right. So how much your sister is Montana? She's older than you. And did you model your game after her, or did she learn stuff from you, or how'd that work?
Honestly, we're like very different how we play. So she's more like an aggressive, go get the ball, go hard at it, and I'm more of like, I think through it and stuff, but I think we did great since we were so close. We worked really well with each other. So she taught me how to be a little more aggressive, and I taught her to, hey, let's slow it down, let's think about it. And we kind of took different things from each other, and it helped because we played Mississippi State together. We played travel ball, and since we're only like a year apart, it kind of helped out where we grew up playing together, and we wanted to do it in college. We weren't sick of each other just yet.
Well, I knew in the early life, like I said earlier, I knew girls love to start early. And I was going to bring up travel ball because although, first of all, Hillsboro sounds like a metropolis. I don't know. It could be huge. It couldn't be huge. I don't really know. Yeah. I know Chapel Hill's a pretty good sized place, and I know you're pretty close to that. So you travel ball from what age? From when you lied when you were 5 to play at 7, and how long?
Yeah, well, I didn't start playing travel softball until I was 8, but I played on travel baseball before then because where I'm from, softball wasn't really a thing necessarily. So to get on my travel softball team, I had to travel like an hour to like Garner, Clayton, North Carolina to even start playing softball. And then it was just from there, I played baseball until up then, and then I kind of played both for a little bit, and then I finally decided, hey, let's do this softball thing. It might work out for me, and so happened it did. So yeah.
I see. So what you're telling me, what I heard from that part of the story was you were too good to play with the boys, so you had to. They made you go play softball.
Something like that, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, when you make the guys look bad, they don't want you on the field with them.
Something like that, but it was fun. Yeah. Well, when I was little, so my dad took me to get a haircut. That's just pretty much the story. and I got too short for my mom's liking. So when I wore a hat, I had to wear like a little ponytail and a clip under it. So after every game, I'd have to go take my hat off, like, "Oh my gosh, you're a girl," and be like, "Yeah." And it was see all the boys' face after we won tournaments with me on the team was pretty
Mm,
cool.
unbelievable. I,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at this point you're glad you made the switch to full time softball, though.
Oh, absolutely, so much fun.
All
Yes.
right, so tell me what it's like. What was a typical day for young Mia in the town that you grew up in?
Well, so usually it's just school. I played multiple sports growing up too. Like throughout middle school, high school, I played basketball, volleyball, softball, all throughout my senior year of high school. So I always stayed busy. I always like being active, doing stuff outside. So I wake up, go to school. After school, my dad would take me and my sister to the field. We would go practice some, and then if we were playing like a different sport, we would do that first, and then go practice softball after. So we always got a little bit of some work in there, even when we're off on doing other sports and stuff like that. Because we always wanted to be successful in other sports to make sure that we are decent at them, but softball was still a priority. So we try to make it work. But that's pretty much it. And then we'll come home and eat dinner, talk, be with family, and then have a good time.
Playing ball and going to school. Boy, I tell you,
Yes.
it sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty good deal right now, doesn't it? Got a whole
Oh
lot of
yeah,
responsibility on your plate right now. All right,
absolutely.
so where you grew up is really close to Chapel Hill, which is where the
Yeah,
University
about
of
like
North
15
Carolina.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, University of North Carolina is there.
Yeah.
So, was that the team you were like rooting for when you were growing up, or I mean, I know you end up at Mississippi State, but
Yeah.
would you
No,
have
I
wanted?
actually
Would you
no,
guys
sorry.
have wanted to have played closer to home, or
Yeah, well, I thought about it. Well, actually, growing up, I was a big Duke fan because my grandma worked for Duke University. Yeah, I was a big Duke fan.
you lucky they
So
didn't throw you out of state?
I know, I know. But yeah, I was a big Duke fan growing up, and I wanted to play for Duke, but at the time they didn't have a team. So when I was getting heavily recruited, I kind of was like, all right, let's think about it. And then North Carolina was looking at me, but I told myself I kind of want to branch out and go somewhere else and experience something else. So I went from a small town to maybe a little bit smaller, but more family oriented, which kind of worked out better. Loved every second of it.
So you're a Duke fan.
I
Man,
am.
All the UNC folks are like, you got to be kidding
They're
me.
like,
You're 10
goodbye,
minutes from our
goodbye.
campus. But that's
Yeah.
okay, though, because you said your grandmother worked for Duke.
Yeah, she worked for Duke Hospital, which is Duke is like about 20, 15 minutes as well. So I was pretty close to all three schools, like in the triangle area is what we call
Right.
it. Like Duke, UNC, NC State. So, but yeah, my family is diehard Duke fans all the way. So it's
Well,
been fun.
I know a lot of folks in Mississippi that are glad you and your sister both ended up in Starkville.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's like, well, when I first got to Starkville, I was like, I didn't really understand like the Ole Miss Mississippi State rivalry. And I was like, oh, I mean, is it kind of like Duke and UNC? I guess they're like, yeah, it's like that, but it's the South. I said, oh, this should be interesting. But yeah, it's been crazy getting to play Ole Miss and then going to the Egg Bowls and then playing them in 3 game series. They're like super intense and it's so much fun.
Yeah, I know all about the Duke
Oh
North
yes.
Carolina rival. And it's more in basketball than it is anything. But you
Mm-hmm.
had no idea what you were walking into with the whole Ole Miss
Oh,
Mississippi State rival.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, even the
you walked in.
cowbells at Mississippi State.
Yeah, that
I
was a
didn't know what I was
train wreck
walking
you walked
into.
into. Because I'm
I know, I
telling
was
you,
like, "What's" whew.
well, see, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's the same way in North Carolina as it is here, but you had to declare at birth. The first words out of your mouth either had to be Ole Miss or Mississippi State. That's you declare your loyalty as soon as you're able to speak in the state of Mississippi.
Oh, absolutely. That's how here it is. Duke, UNC, then there's like the little percentage who's NC State. But mainly it was like Duke, UNC, either one or the other. And then people are very intense when it comes to after those Duke UNC basketball games. It's super intense. You're like, should I say anything? Should I talk some smack about how Duke won, or should I wait for UNC to talk smack and stuff? It's the next day. You're just ready for something to happen at
I
school.
understand. I understand.
Yeah.
It's the same way here. That's
Yeah.
the week after like the Egg Bowl in football.
Hmm.
That is either the loudest or the quietest week
Yes.
of the year. So
Absolutely.
all right. So growing up, playing every kind of sport that your school offered.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't even mention that while you were at Mississippi State, you stayed on the honor roll here. I'm
Hmm.
assuming that you had to be quite an excellent student while you were going through school, also.
Oh, absolutely. My mom would make sure that we always had good grades because growing up, women, were now just getting professional sports and stuff. She's like, well, grades are super important. I'd rather you have good grades and make sure everything's on check there before school because as you get recruited now, they look at your grades first. Regardless how good you are, if your grades aren't great, they're not going to look at you. And so my mom always said, A's and B's, A's and B's. Well, luckily, I worked my butt off and I was a straight A student throughout high school. I was like a 4.8 GPA or something like that. It was hard, but like I really took pride in my grades because it took me a little bit to get going and like it doesn't come as easy as it did with my sister and my brother who are super smart. So I really took pride in when I had got a report card that said all A's on it or A's and B's and especially in college too.
Well, that was a question I was going to ask off of that was
Mm-hmm.
you or your sister, she's not here to defend herself. You or
Mm-hmm.
her smarter going, coming up through school, but you
Oh,
just said she's super
yeah.
smart. So
She's super smart. She can go in
super
a
smart.
test not try. And she gets A. She's like, oh yeah, I didn't study. I was like, must be nice.
Yeah.
She's
And you
so
spent you
smart.
spent 4 hours studying for a test. She spent like 4 minutes. So yeah. I
Literally,
understand.
literally.
I had
Yeah.
friends like it. It used to aggravate me too. So all right.
Yes.
So on a percentage, sports versus academics. Now, when you were coming up, did you put as much emphasis on academics as sports? Was it like a 50-50 or 70-30? How was that?
I mean, I think it was mostly 50-50 because if we didn't have good grades, it just kind of took a toll on our sports because you're like, oh, I had a bad test that day. Kind of affects how I
Mm,
played or how I practiced because I know how much like school meant to me and that I want good grades, good GPAs because like if you don't get this athletic scholarship, you got to find academics. So if you don't have the good grades, but luckily, thank you Mississippi State, I didn't have to pay for college full ride, so that was very nice.
Maybe Hail
Yeah,
State.
yeah, I'll say to that. But yeah, I think grades are super important. Like sports came easy to me. Sports was a thing that was very natural. So honestly, I think grades I probably took more pride in or more time to work with than sports did because sports just came so easy.
And I'm assuming your parents, as much
Oh
as they
yeah.
wanted to see see these your kids be successful in sports, they were pushing academics super
Oh,
hard.
absolutely. 100%.
I know. I know. Growing up,
Yes.
my dad made it real simple. He said, "If you don't make good grades, you don't play anything." So
Yeah, that's how
during
my
whatever
mom was and my
season that I
dad.
was playing, I worked my butt off to keep my grades up.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny because one year I didn't play volleyball because I was like trying to focus on something, and my grade I kind of got a little lazy and procrastinated. But usually when I play sports, my grades are usually better for some reason. I guess because like oh I gotta get it done in order to like have practice and stuff like that. So sports kind of
It's
helps
that
with my
hyper
grades a little
focus
bit.
is what that's called.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so super smart. Well, extremely smart. You said your sister and brother were super smart. You were
Hmm.
extremely smart. You made good grades. You played at the highest level all the way through school, every sport you had.
Hmm.
Was there a moment playing all those sports where softball wasn't the answer? You thought you were going to do something else?
I don't think so, honestly. I just always fell in love with softball as a kid. Like when I get on the field, it's kind of like a stress reliever for me. Like when I'm on the field, that's all I care about. I just care about having fun, going out there and playing the game that I love. Really, softball's. I mean, there's been points where softball gets frustrating because it's literally called the game of failure. But at the same time, I've learned so many life lessons and stuff, and softball's always been my thing, and I hope to do it for the next 20 years, hopefully, if I can, depending on how my body is.
All right, so if softball was your thing and you knew
Mhm.
it, when was that moment? Like, when was that aha moment where you said, you know what? I think I'm pretty good at this. I think I could play this for quite a while. Like, when was
Yeah.
that moment?
So it's funny you asked that because UNC at the time had a softball team. So on every Monday night, my dad would take my sister and I to these hitting clinics on Monday nights for an hour. And this at the time, this is when Boo Gillette, who was assistant coach there, and we started taking some hacks because we just got on this travel team called the Lady Lightning Gold. And he was like, "Hey, come up to UNC and come to this little clinic for an hour." And Boo Gillette was there, and she was working with me, and she was like, "I think you have potential to be a great hitter, a great softball player if you really want to do this." And then that's when things really got serious with softball, and I was hitting like balls over the fence as like an 11-year old, and I was like, maybe I can do this. And being on the college stadium hitting balls over the fence is like this is something that's truly special that not many people get to say they get to do. And I was like, I think I can do it. And so I told my dad, and we just kind of hit the ground running with it. And then my sister tagged along because she started softball a little later than me with travel ball. 'Cause she was a really big into the competitive cheerleading. She was super good at that. Like she was doing all these fulls, back tucks that people in cheerleading know what I'm talking about. And she was like 9 years old. But one day we were short with players from our travel team. She came and she fell in love with it. And then since we were both at the UNC for those clinics, we're like, maybe we can do this. And maybe we did. And so from that on, every Monday would go there. And then we started doing camps and stuff. And coaches started emailing, calling, and just right fit came along. And now I'm here. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So we're lucky to even have seen your sister at Mississippi State. She was
Yeah.
chasing an Olympic dream. She wanted to be a
Yeah.
gymnast.
Yeah, she was good too, but she fell in love with softball. And actually, Mississippi State, she was on their radar first. She played at this tournament. I wasn't old enough yet. It was called Adidas Futures Tournament in
Should have
Utah.
just lied about your age. You did it earlier.
I
So
know I should have, might as well. But they saw her first. She did really well in that tournament, and then they came to watch her in Birmingham, Alabama, and I was there, and we both did really well. And they're like, "Oh snap! There's these Davidson sisters look really good." So if it wasn't for her, Mississippi State wouldn't even be a thing because they looked at her first, and then they wanted us together. So it kind of worked out perfectly.
hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know now. If you're 11 years old and you're jacking balls out of a college softball stadium, I'm pretty sure a lot of teams were looking at you.
Yeah, but at the time, like that's when recruiting was it. But if it wasn't for her, when she kind of had an interest in Mississippi State, it probably wouldn't have sparked my interest too. Because I knew growing up, I wanted to play softball with my sister because we were just super close, and I knew that like you only get 4 years of it, so why
Right.
not make experience out of it? And but and honestly, I didn't know what to expect. She went on a visit for Mississippi State. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect to fall in love with the campus. I didn't expect to fall in love with everything about Mississippi State. And this was the time before like Dooley Noble was redone, our field was redone. It was when everything was there's like not much there, but just how I got there and I fell in love with it. It was all because of her. So thank her for making us go to Mississippi State because we both fell in love with it because of her.
There you go. It's a special
Yeah,
place too. So
absolutely. Yes, it's iconic. Just the cowbells, the baseball, football, any sport you go to, it's just a blast.
just a quick side question before we get any deeper
Mhm.
into it. Hey, how many have you made a few trips back to Starkville since you started your professional journey?
Yeah, actually, this past year I was a grad student coach there,
Okay.
so I was on the other end of it, helping them during the season. And then actually, my little brother, he's about to go there this fall for college. He's gonna be in like agriculture or something, so it gives me another chance to get back there and see
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was just wondering. You're a well-established star now, and now that you play professionally, were you getting hounded by folks? Hey, there's Mia Davidson Smith or Mia Smith or whatever. They following you down the
yeah.
sidewalk and all that kind of stuff. So
No, I don't think I've hit that just yet.
I don't know
But there's
now.
been little. I don't, I just kind of mind my own business there, and then honestly, it's mainly just little girls at games who come up to me, and I'm okay with that. But never really in like town, people would stare at me, but that's about it. No one's really come up to me
I
and
think I know
introduced
that girl.
themselves.
Where do I know her from? I know.
Yeah,
No,
something like that.
you talking about that hadn't started yet. I was
Yeah.
about to ask you, had they already talked about putting a statue up for you? They got statues of
Dude,
Pretty
I don't
Noble.
know.
They
I
got to
don't
throw a
know.
couple up over at your field, so
I mean, it'll be super nice, but
that'd be
time will
crazy,
tell. I
wouldn't it?
guess. Yeah, time will tell.
All right. So if you had to describe yourself as a type of player you are, type of individual
Mhm.
you are, would you be considered self motivated? Do you feed off the team or the crowd to get you hyped? I mean, what type of player? Because your personality has off the field's got to bleed into on the field
Yeah.
or vice versa. So what type of player or individual are you?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. Like, I know sometimes it's like it's all about how you, excuse me, about self motivation. You have to have the confidence to step in the box and know that you're going to be successful. At the same time, knowing that you're playing for something bigger than yourself is super important to me. Knowing that, okay, if I get this hit, we're going to help win the ball game. And I think that also motivates me well. But like, if I don't have the confidence and the pride in myself to make sure I do well, it's kind of like 50-50 for me. I want to do well for the team, but also want to do well and have the confidence to know that any pitcher that steps into that box isn't going to beat me. So it's a little bit of both. You have to have both in order to play well, I think, in my opinion. And so I really take pride in playing on the front of my jersey as well as what's on the back of my jersey.
Are you a first inning at bat or a sixth inning at bat? Are you amped up, or do you kind of bring yourself down, kind of mellow out as you step into the box, or like how? What
I
are
mean,
you? Are you super
yeah,
on edge and just wanting to explode, or are you kind of slowing the heart rate down? I'm just gonna calm my nerve. I'm gonna step into the box, just do my job. What kind of
yeah.
player does
I think,
does that
yeah.
flux during the game for you? I mean,
Yeah, I think I'm more of a stay calm, stay collective, take your time, be in the moment, not necessarily too amped up. Like there's times where if it's like a big moment in the game, I'll be amped up, but most of the time I'm very calm and collective unless like something just roused me up and I'm ready to go. But a lot of times I try to stay calm, I'm really big about trying to control my breathing when I play because if I can control my breathing, I can stay calm and stay confident.
well, I've had a few opportunities that we talked before we got started. I've had a few
Hmm.
opportunities to watch you at the college level. I've seen some of your professional, or we talking about that, the
Yeah.
ESPN family of networks. I saw a few of your games at the professional level. Now, I
Hmm.
don't, I don't ever see you get rattled. I mean, nothing rattles you. I mean, it's amazing. I don't see the emphatic bat flips when you hit a ball, 300 feet or
Yeah.
whatever. And when you're in
Yeah.
the field, when you're playing in the field, you're behind the plate catching, nothing rattles you, nothing shakes you up. So I was just wondering, was that something that just came natural to you, or you had to kind of train yourself to do that over all these years, or
I think it kind of came natural. There's sometimes where I get kind of sped up, but as I got older, I think I've learned to control it a lot better. And then like, I get rattled a lot, but a lot of times if I get rattled, I get quiet, and so I try to be more vocal and stuff like that. Even though like, because when I play, I'm very observant and I try to think about what's going to happen the next play or 5 plays later, or thinking about my bat, how can I adjust to the next pitch versus the next at bat. So there's a lot of things going in my head, a million miles an hour. So even though it doesn't look like I'm not crazy or not focused, it's rolling in there. And so any type of way that just I try to stay calm, that's how I know I play my best. Because if I get too riled up or too overwhelmed, I know I get to overthinking, and then I don't play my best or I don't do well. But I think it's always come natural, but also I've had people along the way help me control like my nerves and stuff like that too. If that makes any sense.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it does. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's the classic analogy of a duck. Everything looks calm on top of the water, and paddling like crazy under the water.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
that
Yes.
control chaos.
So
You're sort of like, I don't know, if a
I think
Marvel
that's a
reference,
perfect
but it's
definition.
sort of like
Control
Marvel.
chaos.
Here's a Marvel reference for you. You're sort of like She-Hulk. You just don't want to. If you go green on somebody, it's gonna be bad for them. It's just all there is to
Something
it.
like that. That's perfect. Perfect
Yeah.
definition. Heck yeah.
All right. So we got all that high school nonsense out of the way. You had a fantastic time in high school. You did all the high
Yeah.
school things. You
Mm-hmm.
got the opportunity to move on to the college level to play ball. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said yourself, you went to Mississippi State. It was actually your sister's visits where you kind of were first introduced to it. You said you
Mm-hmm.
fell in love with the location, the campus, everything. So you make it from North Carolina to Mississippi. Bit of a culture shock. I'm gonna have to guess.
Yeah, a
Uh,
little bit.
it takes a little bit getting used to, but you know what? Mississippi gets a bad rap. There are some beautiful places in
Oh,
Mississippi. There really are.
absolutely. Yes,
All
there
right,
is.
so you make it on campus, incoming freshman,
Mm-hmm.
and first week you're like, "What have I gotten myself into? What in the world?"
Yeah, but I think honestly, I think I was kind of spoiled with having my sister there 'cause she got to do it before I did.
Mm,
She really, because she came in a year before me, but she redshirted my year. I think if I because I had her there, it helped me what's it called adapt faster than normal
right.
freshmen do. Honestly, because she told me what do I got to do, what do I don't do, how do I do this, what's the lingo, how is our culture. I think if it wasn't for her, I would probably be running around like a chicken with a head cut off. Honestly, she
Okay.
kind of made me make sure I was dialed in and ready to go from the get go. So honestly, a lot of things, if it wasn't for my sister, I probably wouldn't be the player or person I am today because of her, because she helped me along the way so much.
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about the highs and lows of your college days.
Mm-hmm.
After talking to you about your education, that was the easy part. The books at Mississippi State were the easy part. You didn't have any trouble in any classes. You just kind of breezed
Yeah,
through it.
sometimes, yeah, there are some, but like I if it's something I'm interested in, I kind of love doing like studying it. It's stuff like the only times it kind of got hard is stuff that I wasn't really interested in. So I'm like, oh, why do I got to do this class? But knowing me, I wanted to get good grades. But yes, honestly, school wasn't terrible, and I could make my own schedule and have things ready to go and stuff
Mhm.
like that. That's what I love. It's like, dang, all my teachers back in high school said, oh, they do this in college. They never did what they said in college. They lied. But I
That's
love
I tell
college.
people all the time, college is a
Yes.
whole. It's a different universe compared to high school.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so let me see if I was reading kinesiology.
Yes.
That's oh thank
Kinesiology.
goodness. If I'd have swung and missed on that one, we'd have had to shut it down right there.
It's all
Kine-
good.
Kinesiology. When are we going to use that? In about 20 years when you get through playing ball, or
Well, it helps kind of helps with the because I want to be a coach after professional softball. I kind
Mhm.
of want to go into the coaching side because I like being very analytical with softball, and then having Josh Johnson with Rapsodo, and then like all of our coaches, we loved using Rapsodo and different stuff.
Rapsodo?
That
Yeah.
yeah, I love. I
We had
kind of went
Justin.
in here.
Was it Justin Aguilar? We had him on as a previous guest with Rap Soto. I tell
Okay.
you, him and Kobe were talking about. I thought I knew baseball. They were talking about stuff. It was it was like Mars. I had no idea
Yes.
what they were talking about.
It's
So
crazy. Yeah, we use that and then Blash. I can't speak today. Jeez, Blash motion sensors. We use a lot of that stuff. And then I think the year after COVID, a guy from I forget his name from the LA Dodgers who helps with stuff came in and put like straps on us and analyze our swing, which was pretty cool. So like getting into that, and then we use how we scouted with Mississippi State. I loved how you get to take videos, you can do certain counts, certain pitches, and what pitchers throw, and I really love that about the game and just doing stuff with that side I really like. And then also this year I got to help with the hitting part with Mississippi State softball, and seeing the look on a lot of the girls' faces when it just clicked for them was something that like, oh, I wanted to keep doing this. I love it, but right now I kind of want to keep playing softball as long as possible, and knowing that coach is in the back burner. So yeah.
I've seen you play recently. I think you're going to be able
Mm.
to do this for quite a while.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
All right. So college days, Mississippi State, highs and lows. We were talking about it. You played with your sister for quite a
Hmm.
while. You
I
got an
did.
opportunity to play with her in college. Now, you guys are super close. You've told us
Mhm.
that throughout the previous part of this conversation. But did that relationship change any when y'all got to college?
Um, I don't think so. I think we got closer because we didn't have our parents with us. So if we fight, we had to figure out how to make up
Mhm.
sometimes. But I think we got super close because like we're honest, like you said, we're just best friends, and then we had people hang out with us, which are friends like Jackie McKenna, Annie Willis, and other people. But
Mhm.
we just always hung out and we always clicked really well. So I think that's what helped make us successful is that we clicked. Like she knew when I was down or like something didn't feel right in my swing or I just wasn't in it. She knew how to help me and vice versa her. And so having her there was like a huge help for Mississippi State softball in general.
Right. And it also helps no parents around when y'all hit the clubs around Starkville. You know,
So,
keep each
oh
other out
yeah,
of jail, that kind of stuff. Don't miss curfew,
oh
sneaking each other in so you
absolutely,
don't miss curfew and all that kind of stuff, right?
yeah, something like that. But I don't know if my parents might be
Listen,
watching this. So I'm
your
like,
secret's safe with me. Only a few thousand people are going to see this video.
oh, not too bad.
All right, so let's talk about a little more serious tone than you and your
Okay,
sister just hanging out having fun.
yeah,
You had a teammate during your time at Mississippi State that
yeah,
had cancer,
she did.
and
Yeah, Alex
and it
Wilcox.
was a huge. Listen, I've never witnessed. And I told you I was on campus quite a bit during that time.
Hmm.
I had never seen such an outpouring of support for a young lady in my life,
Hmm.
and then to see the impact first of all she had on you guys as a team, but then she had an impact on the entire SEC. Like
Oh
there
yeah,
were teams
even
that were
even
there were
more
teams that
too.
were honoring her that had no idea who she even was.
Absolutely. That's just the definition of who Alex was. Like I got to play with her a little bit before Mississippi State with the Birmingham Thunderbolts a little bit, but just how the person she was and how like she was just there to have fun and enjoy life for even for the little time she had. And it was just something crazy knowing that teams all over the country, not just SEC, but even all over the country, supported her. And then being able to tell her story and what type of person he was. It's just, I'm just truly honored to do it with a lot of
Now,
other people.
help me get this story right, okay?
Hmm.
She was she was just one season at Mississippi State.
Yes, sir.
Now she was recruited and signed to play. They found out after she signed, they died. They found the
So
cancer diagnosis, or
admitted she was diagnosed Christmas Day or the day after Christmas,
mm,
her junior year. So she was verbally committed, but the coach at the time, Van Studeman, said, let's do it. I want to keep you, whatever we got to do to make sure that you enjoy this time and you can play softball. I'm doing it. She stayed true to it. And then ever since then, the way they handled it was truly a blessing. And she got to enjoy everything that she had that one year, and I'm glad she got to do it with us. And I'm glad I got to experience it with the short amount of time. She really changed the way, honestly, how I think about softball and play. And for me, it's like the small things that for me, like say like I'm going out there, I'm tired. I'm like, well, someone else in the world would kill to be in my spot right now, like
right,
especially
right,
Alex or young girls. Like that way I look at it. Oh, excuse me. Like when sorry, my computer fell. but like, but like any day that I feel tired, not feel great, like my body's hurting, I'm like, people who've been through worse would kill to be out here right now. So why am I complaining? And it just makes me enjoy the game and not complain so much and just have a good time and enjoy the people around me and just love softball. That's what she wanted to do, so that's what I try to do.
now, first of all, that's an amazing story, amazing testament for sure. I know what an impact she had on the campus at Mississippi State,
Mhm.
and then of course I saw it go across the SEC, which was just unbelievable. How many like who what coach actually recruited you to Mississippi State?
So I committed a long time ago, June 13th, 2013, which is when Beth Mullins, Van Studeman, and Alan Reach was the coaches at the time. That's
Okay.
who all recruited, and that's when I verbally committed with my sister. They were the coaches.
Now,
And
what
then
year, like, where were you in your journey when you committed?
I was 2013. I was just going into eighth grade. It's my eighth grade
Okay.
summer. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Committed as an eighth grader. Good
Yes.
Lord. I guess if you can hit a ball 300 feet, go ahead and commit.
Might as well, I guess.
All right. So, who was the coaching staff when you got there, though?
It was Van Studeman, Samantha Ricketts, Tyler Bratton, and
Okay.
then and I think we had a volunteer, but we didn't have volunteers to my sophomore year, which was like Lexi Elkins, but it was mainly them three.
Okay. And when
Mhm.
you left Mississippi State, who was the coaching
Yeah,
staff?
it was Samantha Ricketts, Tyler Bratton, Josh Johnson, and then we did have a DJ Sanders. Sorry, DJ, but DJ Sanders was our volunteer my senior
Okay.
year. Yeah.
So, did you ever have that kind of flux? I mean, I know you played travel ball. You probably played for
Mhm.
one of the same coaches and all that. Did you go
Mhm.
through that in high school? Did you have a bunch of different coaches during high school, or you generally had the same one? Or
Yeah, we had Journey had the same one. I had a same coach for 2 years, and then she retired, and then my dad stepped up. He got the head coaching job at Orange High School, where I went, and then ever since then it was my dad, and then my other coach Tanya Day, and then Olivia McDonald, and Amber Palmer. All of them. That was Orange High School, and the first year my second year, excuse me, my dad was a coach. We won the state championship my senior year with him coaching. So
mm,
that was pretty cool getting to experience that with my dad. But then Mississippi State went from Van Studeman to Ricketts, Coach Ricketts being the head coach. So I think it helped a lot that Ricketts was already there. So we had something kind of established with her and Coach Bratton. And then adding a good addition with Coach Josh Johnson, it was it wasn't easy. It was like difficult trying to find our own culture at first, like what Ricketts wants to make this program. But I think it's getting there. And after a second year, we made history. It was the first super regional ever. We had good good team. We had a great team, great leadership with me, Annie Willis, Montana Davidson. A lot of people stepped up and just did the thing, and we just,
Yeah.
it was nice.
Yeah, you're kind of underselling that. I don't know if monumental even is. Um,
Yeah.
the campus was electrified. I'll just leave
Oh,
it at
it
that.
was
It was. I'm gonna tell
something
you,
special.
when Mississippi State softball is trending above Mississippi State football and baseball in the same season, you
Yes.
ladies were doing something very special.
Yes, I think when I stepped on the field the first game day, when like over 2,000 people was there, I
Mhm.
got chills. I was like, they're there for us. Because usually
Yeah.
we go other places and it's like Alabama, Florida, they're there for them. But these people are here to see women's sports succeed, especially in softball. And that honestly gave me chills. And I think when I went to go catch, because we're a home team, I kind of took a second and like took it all in, was breathing like this is where we wanted to be and we got here. We did it. And I think it's still like a surreal moment. Actually, my mother-in-law has a portrait she printed out like on a canvas of the super regional, like the stadium full and everything, and it's so cool.
All right. So first of all, I have to revisit something because I didn't know
Yeah.
this. I'm ashamed I didn't do my research well enough to have known this.
Yeah.
You played for your father in high school.
I did.
That had to have been the worst experience in the world.
No, it was good.
It's got to be because everybody knows when your parent is coaching you, they are on you harder and
Oh
longer
yeah.
than any other person on the field.
Honestly, yeah, but at the same time, I think it kind of prepared me for college. Like him yelling at me was like nothing when the coaches yelled at me for something, and I just think he had high expectations for us, and
Oh,
he
okay.
knew our full potential. So like when he got onto me, at the time I didn't like it, but at the end of the day, when I'm older now, I kind of understand why he did it, and he was just pushing because he knew my potential and our
Well, I
team's
mean, I played for my dad for 3 years. I'm telling you, well, not in high school, at youth league,
mm,
but my dad stayed on me.
yeah.
We would come off the field and he'd tell me, he said, you're better than that, right? And I'm like,
Hmm.
yes, sir, I know. He says,
Yes,
well, show
absolutely.
me. That was his
Yeah.
big deal. Well, show me then.
Yeah. Yeah, we this has been some good times. We kind of joke about it sometimes with him. This is one time we were younger, and after all these years, I played slow pitch with them, and there's this thing we always used to joke about when he missed the ball grounder playing slow pitch. I said, "Go back to 10U," because we joked about it. Is one thing he used to say when we were
Go back,
younger,
did you?
and we laugh about it now. But like all the times that yeah, parents just expect a lot of us, and just they know our potential, and and it was something good that I really truly like. I'm grateful for what he did for my sister and I, and even my mom too. Like my mom was kind of the cushion between it, but I think what he did really prepared us for college, and he pushed us, and they both made a lot of sacrifices to make sure that we had what we needed and got to where we needed to go, even when sometimes we couldn't afford it. They figured it out. We didn't. They did it when we didn't even know we were struggling sometimes, and
Right.
I got older and I started to realize it, and it's something that I'm truly grateful for.
Yeah, moms are the best buffers in the world.
Yeah. See, my mom, she didn't play softball growing up, but she did like tennis, track, basketball. Like my whole family's just from military and athletes. So
So
having that,
your dad was military?
both my parents were. My
Oh
mom and
my
dad actually
gosh.
met in the army. My grandpa retired as a sergeant major. My husband is actually just got out of the military. So we
Mm,
have military along the line. So
mm,
having that, like that hard work ethic that they had, and the guts and the grit they bestowed upon us, I think honestly is
right.
something that is I'm grateful for, because it made sure that we worked our butts off. We earned every single thing we did. We was Nothing was given to us.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for that diversion, but when you
No,
hit me
you're
with
good.
your father was your high school coach, I'm like, how did I
Yeah.
miss that? I mean,
Yeah, he
that's a
was.
whole. First of all, that could have been a whole episode right there. But anyway,
Yeah.
so let's jump back to college. I'm sorry. Let's go
Yeah.
back to
No,
start.
no, you're fine.
All
You're
right,
fine.
Coach Ricketts.
Mhm.
Um, what kind of? First of all, you had a familiarity with her when she took over as a head
Mhm.
coach. You sort of
Yes.
knew the direction she'd take the program. I mean, you
Yeah.
knew. Lip service is what do they say, talk is cheap. She can say a
Mhm.
lot of things, but then all she did was prove what she said she was going to do. She
Yeah.
took a team that was, I mean, let's be honest, before y'all's classes started coming in, Mississippi State softball wasn't that good. I mean,
Yeah. I think we
listen,
slowly got
I
better
love the
and better.
university, but Mississippi State softball was not something people talked about. And then suddenly she takes over. Y'all electrify the campus. Y'all go to a super regional. I mean, the place was rock. It felt like across the street at the baseball stadium. That's how insane
Yeah.
it was. So, what kind of influence did Coach Ricketts have on you?
Yeah, I think it was mostly Ricketts as a coach, but as well as a person. She was the type of coach that, yeah, she expected a lot from you as a player, but she also wanted you to be a successful woman outside of softball because, like I said, a lot of us only get softball for 4 years. So she
Mm,
wanted to make sure that we were ready to take on life after sports, you know? And I think that was a big thing that she harped was like, yes, I want you to be wonderful softball players, but also I want you to be grown woman ready to take on the world. And I think that's one thing I truly admired about Coach Ricketts at that time. And even now, like she checks on us, and then like we always talk because like they were looking for actually a pitching coach, and we were talking about it and talking about different coaching jobs and stuff like that. And she's always the one that I can go to make sure like I get advice or something that she sees that I don't. And she's really a good person to go to, and especially even Coach Bratton and Coach Johnson were really good. Like with we call him T Brat there, Coach Bratton, and we always joke about some stuff like now that I'm not a player this past year, stuff that like just playing wise and stuff he sees. Like he's a really good hitting instructor as well. And then Josh Johnson, Coach Johnson, him pitching and what he sees and how he calls pitches, I think it kind of helped me think analyze pitchers going into Athletes Unlimited, how to call pitches, what to see, what works, what doesn't work, and stuff like that. So all of them had a pretty nice impact on me. Even the coaches before then, Ben Studeman and stuff, taking a chance on a little girl from Hillsborough, North Carolina is something you can't never you're just completely grateful for. So if it wasn't for her recruiting and then Beth Mullins and Alan Reach, they're a big reason why I'm here. So I appreciate every step of every process on the way.
yeah, just taking a chance on a little 13-year-old girl that hits 300-foot bomb. So that's
Something like that. Yes, sir.
all right. So, um, we got to talk about the individual accomplishments you had. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you do realize you're sitting at the top of the record books, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty cool.
I know
Yeah.
you don't think, I know you don't think about that, but sometimes you have to like I don't know, you might be doing a Google search and stumble across it and you go like, "Holy cow, I got more home runs than anybody in SEC history."
I mean, that was I think going into my junior year or before COVID, I didn't realize how close I was to the record. Like I wasn't thinking about it, but people bring it up when you get close to it. So it's something I kept in the back of my mind. I was like, well, if I break this, it'll be a huge accomplishment for myself and stuff. But sometimes records get in your head, so I try not to think about it and just make sure that I do what was best for the team and make sure that everybody was on board doing what we had to do. And having to break the record my senior year, like I think like 6 games in or something like that. I actually did it. My husband was watching that day because he was about to get deployed, and he actually got to get leave, and he came and watched me, and he watched me break it. So that was pretty cool as well.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
mean, two-time All-American. I mean, look. I've been bringing up you hit the ball 300 feet a lot, but I mean, you're two-time All-American. I mean,
Mhm.
that means you were really good at least 2 years that you were there because they
Yeah.
named you an All-American. Could
Yeah.
you have ever in a million years fathomed that, committing as an eighth grader that one day you'd be a two-time college All-American? I
No,
mean,
not
that's
really.
the legend
Honestly.
stuff we keep talking about. You coach
Yeah.
Coach Ricketts, NCAA legend. I mean, all she's doing is just making legends.
Yeah, I think I didn't think like I just knew that I wanted to play softball and I wanted to get an education and I knew I was pretty decent at softball. So each year I got better and better and I just kept falling in love with the game more even if it's like Ricketts also gave me the respect and what's it called? Can't think of the word right now. To help coach when she's not around. So
Mm,
she gave me the permission, I guess you could say, to when she's not around, she let me help the girls as well, which helped me get better. Because a lot of people say when you teach, you actually help yourself as well. And so her having the trust, there you go, the trust in me to help
There
when
you
she's
go.
not around, kind of gave me a lot of like earned a lot of respect for her because she's like, oh well, Mia can do it, and then I can trust her to be with other girls. It really means a lot that she trusts me with that. Even as a sophomore, all the way up to where I am now, she trusts me with that, and I think that's where I kind of found my love to coach too, was teaching people and knowing, showing that like it clicked for them, or things that they feel that works, and seeing that their success and they keep building is something pretty special too.
That's true. That's
Mm-hmm.
trust me, your name will be etched in Mississippi State, SEC, and NCAA lore forever now.
Yeah.
Um, Younger players, as you were getting older, playing your college days,
Mm-hmm.
did you feel a obligation to help the younger players? Was it a privilege or a pleasure to mentor the younger players?
Yeah, I think it was kind of an obligation and a privilege to do it because, like, I want to make sure that when Mississippi State, when I stepped off the campus, that I want to leave it better than I found it, and I wanted to make sure that the play once I leave, players knew their roles, knew what they had to do, and I think the senior class I had really stepped up. All of us stepped up to make sure that the next year, the kids coming in next year, were ready to go, and the ones when we leave, the ones who step up are ready to lead, and I really took pride in that, especially with, like we said, making history our senior year, taking pride in like literally just leaving, like you said, a mark on Mississippi State. That when they think of Mississippi softball, they kind of think about that senior class and me. And like when I first committed there, also I was like, I wanted to go somewhere where I can make something of the program. I didn't want to already have it established. I want to go somewhere, be the underdog, put us on the map where like, oh, Mississippi State can play, they can hang. And I think I really take pride in what we did there, and it's something I'm going to really cherish. And I'm glad that I was a part of it, I guess you could say.
Okay. Well, your state days are behind you, playing pro
Mm-hmm.
ball now. But let's talk about something first before we talk about anything about
Mm-hmm.
professional, because we're running a little short on time.
Yeah,
I might have to actually see if I can line up for you to come back so we can talk about that professional aspect of it.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, the hyphenated life. How's the hyphenated life treating you?
Oh, it's great, especially now that he just fully got an army. We got married last year in
Okay.
December. We eloped.
Well, first of all, let's back up a second.
Mhm.
What's the young man's name?
His name's Sean Smith. Sean
Sean
Smith.
Smith, and you
Yes.
guys met where?
We met in high school, actually. It's a
Okay.
funny story. I actually told my friends about this in Athletes Unlimited. We were in the same like gym class together. We were playing basketball, and I elbowed him in the nose. I busted his nose.
Broke my man's nose. Well, you
Yeah,
had to marry him then.
yeah. I was like, I guess I gotta. I felt bad, so I guess I gotta do it. But no, yeah, he was a good guy, and we both support each other through times of softball, and then him going into the military after my freshman year. Things were tough with distance, and him not we couldn't talk weeks at a time because he was in basic, and then he also got deployed last summer due to like situations going on that I can't say, but that was a tough time during my senior season. But
National
we
security
just
situation. We can't be talking about that. So,
so, something like that,
all right.
military
So, I
stuff.
do have a quick question, it's a little side question
Yeah,
here. So, you broke my man's nose in gym class in high
yeah,
school. You
yeah.
you essentially ended his athletic career. So he
Something
had
like
to go
that.
in the military to try to save face. I'm with you.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But he always wanted to serve, and we talked about it going in, and I was like, I respect your decision. Family, my whole family has been in the military from my grandpa to uncles, mom and dad. That's how my parents met, and do it. Go for what you want to do. You're letting me do what I want to do, so go do what you want to do, and we just been strong ever since. And we got married last year, and now we're finally actually really together. We get to live together, just do stuff, and it's been a long time coming, but it's been so great, and I love him very much. So
This
yeah,
is just me personally. I want to thank you for doing it right, actually getting married and then living together, not the other way
yeah,
around.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
in
We
this
just
old world
always
we
been
live in now, a
distant.
lot of folks just live together for a while, see if it's going to work, then they get married. So,
Yeah, well, I think kind of our situations put us in that position, but honestly, it's been super special. Like finally, actually getting to move in together. It was kind of weird at first because we always thought one of us was going to have to leave to either go back to Mississippi or go back to where he was stationed. And I was like, well, I was like, no, we're actually here. It's real. We're doing this now, and we haven't looked back since. And we've been doing great. He's actually just got accepted into North Carolina Central for college, so he's about to go back to school. And then I'm about to get ready to play. I'm actually going to, in a couple days, I leave to go to play Ireland in Team USA with Team USA. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, but since you went in and brought up,
Yeah.
congratulations on that. That was one of the
Thank
things I was
you.
going to point out, that you just
Yeah.
keep getting awards, you keep getting chances and
Yeah.
opportunities. So
Good.
where do you guys, now that you are a married couple, now that you're hyphenated,
Yeah.
I'm assuming you did that because of, you are Mia Davidson. That's the marketing aspect of it. Now, we won't even talk about CG Sports. That's in the episode notes. If anybody wants to check her out and how to get in touch with her and all that.
Yeah.
Where you guys, or y'all are based out of where?
We're in North
You said
Carolina
your
right
parents
now.
live in Georgia now. Where are you guys based out of?
We're based out of North Carolina. We're living in my hometown house actually right now until we start to figure stuff out, because after I got done with Mississippi State, I literally had to pack all my stuff up and go to AUX, which I just played, and then now I'm here for a week, and then going to Ireland for about 10 days. The next day when I get back, I have to go to Chicago. So we're kind of just chilling out until we figure out life after softball, I guess, and him getting ready for school.
Okay. Well, look, since you've agreed to actually come back in the future, a few weeks down the road, or maybe a month or whatever, and let's talk about your professional career. Because, like I said, I'm sorry. I knew this was going to happen. We were going to get talking. I got a little fanboy. I went a little fanboy on you, and I lost track of my time. And now I'm running short on time. So if you would agree to it, we get you back on, and we'll spend a whole episode talking about the profession that you now have, not just playing a profession. Because we talked about this before we got started. I've watched it. It's intriguing the way that league is set up. So we can talk for quite a while on that. And of course, any other updates, you can tell us about going to Ireland and, playing in the Olympics and all that stuff that normal people do. So
yeah. It's everyday things. Yeah, I would love to come back.
Look, before you get out of here, though, before we run short on time here, let everybody know how they can track you on social media. I know you've got a website and all that kind of stuff. Let them know, because I know certain fans or that have followed you want to keep track of you.
Yeah, so my
Instagram.
I'm mainly on Instagram and Twitter. I have a TikTok. I don't use it much, but my Instagram and Twitter is Mia MIA Sky SKY 3332, and then I have a Facebook, which I don't get on that much, but mainly it's Instagram and Twitter. And then I have a website. It's miasdavidson.com. I'm pretty sure.
She thinks.
Sorry, it's been a minute.
I think I actually put it in the episode notes. So if you don't get it right,
sorry, I should know that. I'm so bad.
I know.
At that.
Well, you got a lot going on. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, but mainly it's Instagram and Twitter. That's where you can catch me. It's like questions about softball, life. I'm always on it. I'm pretty much glued to my phone all the time if I'm not doing something. So yeah, there's Instagram, Mia Sky 3332, as well as my Twitter 3332. So yeah.
Let's see if we got all that. Let's see. CG Sports. You're represented by CG Sports.
I am.
And they can inquire. I actually did have that somewhere, but I don't know what I did with it. It's like Mia Davidson. Let me see if I got it here somewhere. Yeah, it's like Mia Davidson. I got it I see it down in the episode notes. So if she didn't get it right, she apologizes. You should know that kind of stuff, but she's got a lot going on. I mean, she's fixing to go overseas and play ball. She's fixing to go play for the Olympics. I mean, give her, cut her some slack. So,
I'll get it right next time.
First of all, I can't thank you enough for coming on. We were joking about this before we got started. That I really can't believe when I reached out, the company represents you reached back out to me, and I'm like, holy cow, I'm fixing to get Mia Davidson on the show, which is amazing. We're a baseball themed show, but we always want to give the ladies their equal due because, softball and baseball, they're essentially the same now. I mean, the popularity levels of women's softball are they're through the roof at this point. And the next time we talk, we're going to talk about that because we're going to talk about the professional league that you're in. And the one thing I noticed, you said this earlier, and the one thing I noticed, one thing you ladies emphasize at the high school, college, or whatever, little girls coming up to you wanting to be you.
Absolutely. I think that's another reason why I play.
That's a daunting task, because that younger generation is watching everything you're doing. But
Oh,
we're going to talk about
absolutely.
that the next time you and I chat also, because
We
that's
will.
I have a few social responsibility questions I might want to ask you at that point.
All
So,
right. Yeah, of
all right,
course.
all
All
right,
right.
guys. Look, me, I cannot thank you enough for being on. I'm super excited to find out you're willing to come back on and finish this conversation.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. Yes, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
no problem. You have a great evening, and then we will. Like I said, I'll be reaching back out to you, and hey, for our listening audience, we're going to have her back on. We're going to talk about a professional opportunity that she's embarked on now. So, thank you, Mia. You have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye. All right, guys, that's going to be all for us tonight. Like I said, I can't thank my guest Mia Davison Smith enough for coming on. And like I said, we're going to have her on in the next few weeks. I'm on. Like I said, I got to see what her schedule looks like. As you just heard, she's going to be pretty busy, and we're going to shift gears and talk about just her professional life at that point. And that's pretty much it for this evening, guys. So a couple of future guests we're going to have on in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to have on Stephen Dome and Nate Dome. Nate was a pitcher at Mississippi State and at Ball State before then. Him and his father Stephen are going to be on. We're going to be talking about a very special cause that has been highlighted about something Nate did. We're going to talk about that in depth. And a young man from the Mississippi Gulf Coast named Caden Irving. He's actually an Ole Miss commit. Played down at Gaucher High School. He was a two-sport star. So we're going to be talking to him. That's the 23rd of this month. So you guys tune in. We can't thank y'all enough for supporting us. Like I said, like, share, subscribe if you like what you're seeing here. And of course, if you want to support us, in any way financially, there's a support link down in the episode notes that you can click on and help us out. Hey guys, another one down. We'll see you guys on the next one. And y'all have a good evening from Brushing the Bat with Kobe White.